My name is Eric Van Horn. I bought my first franchise in my 20s, and since then, I've owned 6 brands with 25 stores in 8 states. I've also helped 1,000 people find the right franchise for them. People like us who are not cut out for the 9 to 5 and like to work smarter, not harder. How do we find the right franchise, buy it, grow it, sell it, and how do we do it in a way to own the business without it owning us? Those are the questions, and I'm on a mission to give you the answers. Welcome to Franchise Secrets. Welcome to the Franchise Secrets podcast with your host, Eric Van Horn here. And today's guest is Mike Arce, founder, CEO of Loud Rumor. And that is a marketing company that does a lot in the franchise space. I've been following him for quite some time now, and I've been looking forward to getting him on the podcast. And Mike, we're live in your Facebook group right now too, right?
We are.
What's the name of your Facebook group?
Loud Rumor members only.
I like it. How'd you come up with the name Loud Rumor? I love that name.
Yeah. It was actually supposed to be, the company was originally called Fast Rumor. Me and my cousin started it out. And then we just, decided we were going to be better as family and not so much coworkers. So she started a company called Fast Fix Solutions. It's like an IT company. It's not around anymore. And then I kept Rumor and I started Loud Rumor, and it just felt like it flowed off the tongue. And I felt like the best business is business that people are nonstop talking about.
I love it. Well, I want to talk today. So we're starting to come out of coronavirus, COVID-19. We've been deep in it, social distancing, and I'm a franchise owner. I have a Facebook group, Franchise Tribe, and I have a franchise mastermind. And everyone's just starting to think about what we're going to do as we start to open up our fitness locations and beauty locations. Like, what are we going to do? How do we come out of this stronger than before? And I've been following a lot of your stuff. I've seen some of the contents that you've been putting out, and you're always so good at putting out content. But can you kind of give us the lay of the land, like where we've been, where we are, and kind of where you see us going?
Where we've been was the best economy we've ever seen in our life. We complained about it still, right? We complained about saturation and so many people were coming into the space. And so now the only thing that could have possibly happened to wipe out saturation happened. And so now we wish it was back the way it was. And so, but really where we're at now is it just depends. There's a few different groups of people, and there's one group of people that no matter what you do, no matter what landscape they find themselves in, they're going to constantly find a way to make whatever they're doing better. They can't help themselves.
Yep.
It's an urge, right? An irresistible urge to be better and create something better. Then you're going to have another group of people that just sit and wait, and they're just kind of waiting it out. They may have gotten their PPP money. Maybe they got a line of credit. They're just like, I'm just going to wait it out. We're not going to go crazy. We're not going to create a bunch of resources. We're going to waste time, confuse the market. We're not going to do that. And all the reasons why they wouldn't want to do transitions are all valid, right? I don't want to confuse people. I don't want to waste time or resources. They're all valid. But there's a lot of things that are valid. Like, I don't want to start a company because of this. All those things are valid, right?
100%.
Yeah, like any major thing that you're going to do that involves risk, you can always make a case where I don't want to do it because, right? I don't want to get a house because of this. Or I don't want to invest into this, property because of this. No matter what, you're always going to have reasons to help justify your decision not to. But in reality, it's just to me, it's not the right thing to do is to wait it out. I think figuring it out is going to be the best approach. There's other people that, unfortunately, their most popular phrase in business is "we've always done it that way." And because they've always done it that way, because they can't see it being done a different way, to them it's not real. They can't. And once other people start doing it, then they're going to be the same people that say, "Oh, we could have totally done that. Oh, really? That's all they did? That's so easy. We could have done that." Yeah, well, you could have, you should have, you didn't. And that's a big conversation we had with people on our team this morning. We have a big group called a team, and these are people that are higher level. They pay more money to be a part of this group. And we had a call with them, a coaching call today, and the call was 100% focused around, like, you got 300 members or 500 members in your facility. You're excited about that. And all you keep thinking is, well, my members wouldn't want this. Well, yeah, but you got 90,000 women in a 5-mile radius, and you only got 300 to say yeah to the old thing. What about the 89,700 people that you haven't surveyed to find
Yep.
out what they want? Because my wife is going to keep her membership once gyms open. McKenna, who's one of our, she's our lead video producer. She already told me she's going to keep her membership with the company in Lady Strong in Chicago, even though we're in Arizona, once the gym's open. My wife's got 4 kids. It's hard for her to get to the gym, right? And so now she's been working out every day. It's more convenient for her, and people are
Hmm.
figuring it out. And somebody it's probably gonna be multiple people that are gonna eventually be competitors, the Jobs and the Gates, right? But somebody is going to figure out how to make this group virtual thing, which didn't exist before.
Yep.
Personal did, YouTube did, but like not the group coaching. Somebody's going to figure out how to do it awesome, how to improve the experiences in all the different buckets, how to make it better. They're all things anybody can do. And it's all going to be done by somebody just like people watching and people listening to your show.
Yep.
Orange Theory was not done by, it wasn't like, hey, Steve Jobs had this idea, let's create an Orange Theory. It was done by Ellen and Dave and another person. They were regular people. Ellen was just an instructor at a random small Pilates studio,
Hmm.
like that. And now she blew this thing up, right? So she just decided, hey, we're going to do it differently. And now a lot of people use Orange Theory as the model.
Yep.
And I think virtual, it's awesome. It works. I've been working out a new place every day, 18 days in a row. It works. It's good. It's a good freaking workout. It's better than anything I've done at home.
It's interesting that you were talking about that and just kind of having to think differently, having to figure it out. I just started throughout all this, I've been delaying it, but I started a mastermind for franchisees. Right now it's just franchiseemastermind.com. We'll come up with a better name later on, but it's like 147 bucks a month. And it's just an entry for franchisees to come in to a mastermind and to be around people in different industries and different sectors and different franchises. But one of the first things that I'm going to talk about is that mindset, being able to think differently, because we just get so caught up into what we've done and how we've always done it. And we don't think non-linear. We only think like in the box. So like how do you help people to get out of that mindset that they've always been? It's always the way that we've done it.
It's history repeating itself over and over. 5 years ago, everyone that these studio owners today, every single person listening, every person watching right now, 5, 6 years ago, they would have said, and they said it, why would anybody pay $150 a month to come and work out when LA Fitness is charging 25 bucks?
Hmm.
Everyone we all said the same thing. Why? Because it's a much better experience. But here's the thing. It's not then to this today, right? Because competition is necessary for evolution.
Yep.
Otherwise, if it wasn't for Samsung, we'd still be working with the iPhone 4G and loving it, right? But the iPhone has to keep making
Yep.
it as the other. And so 5, 6 years ago, if you remember going to studios, they did not look like they do today. They were just maybe some paint on the walls, some good workouts. That was it. Today, you've got like glowing fluorescent lights. You've got monitors all over. You've got instructors with mics all over their ears, going to their mouth. They're yelling. They got matching outfits on. These rowers and everything just look amazing. The lobby looks good. There's glass walls. There's apparel. It wasn't like that 6 years ago, right? So everybody has made the experience better, and now every studio owner is now thinking, why wouldn't you pay for it? Like it's amazing. Better workout, you got the
Yep.
community. So I think right now people just have to realize that it's just history repeating itself. It's just we're becoming more of an online virtual world. And will things go back to where you're working out in a physical space? Yes. And will your 300 to 600 members that you already had want to return back to a physical space? Yes. But are there 80,000 other people that
Hmm.
never went into your physical space that actually enjoy this thing from home that they could do because they
Hmm.
have to be at home with their kids because that's just the way their life is or their schedule and all that. My wife is working out more now than she ever has times two. Sometimes she'll work at 3 or 4 workouts a week. Right now, she's working out 7 to 10 times a week. She does 2 a days. I'm not kidding. It's not a joke. She really does 2 a days.
One of the things I think in what this whole COVID thing did is it just sped everything up. Like there was a natural evolution of the online stuff coming and probably the group online things coming, but this just compressed it into a month or 2 months and forced it to happen versus kind of letting the market decide. had you even thought about that before? Was that even on your radar? Group fitness, virtual
No,
stuff?
no, but I'll tell you right now, I see such a big opportunity for this over the traditional stuff.
Hmm.
You look at my Facebook or my Instagram, just about 2, 3 hours ago, I posted, if anybody's looking to sell their studio, I'll buy it
What would you do with it? Why would you buy it?
because I want to have a nice background to run my virtuals in. I don't want to run it out of my house if I can prevent it, right? If they're not going to do it, I'll be the one to do it because it's in a wide open space the
Hmm.
pandemic created for us. It created an idea for us.
Yep.
Normally, you have to come up with an idea that's different, that's a blue
Yeah.
ocean. You have to come up with it. This time, the pandemic did it for you, where you're just like, what can we do? Well, this is the only thing we can do. And here we are, there's no studios doing it. So, hey, if nobody wants to go all in and go crazy, I'll do it. So, I actually already talked with somebody, and we are going to be looking at possibly buying a studio that we can make the space look nice and set up perfectly for virtual and have screens and all that. And look, we talked about like, okay, you signed up with me 3 to 600 people in a 5 mile radius. What about the other 89,000? But what
Mhm.
about the other millions and tens of millions outside of your 5 mile radius that you don't have to be confined to? I mean, you only have to get 5,000 members at $100 a month to do over half a million a year, a month, over half a million a month. That's it. And what are the expenses to that?
Basically, the same expense as running one studio or a few studios.
Is it though? What's your rent?
Your rent's fixed. You just have more instructors because you can run more classes out of that or different classes out of
Yeah,
that.
but what does your rent have to be versus mine? I don't need a 2,000 square foot space. I can do it in a 600 square foot
Yep.
space.
Yeah, because you social media guys with all your backdrops, and I've been in some of these guys' studios, like what it looks like on camera
Yeah.
to what it actually is.
Oh, people come into my studio when they come in person. They say, "Oh, I thought it was a lot bigger." No, it's not. It's a
Hmm.
small 10 by 10 room, right? Lewis House's podcast. You ever seen Lewis House?
Yep.
Interviews awesome people. It looks like a pretty good space. I've been in there. I've been in his house. He does it in his house. It's a bedroom in his house, and only half of it's used. It's like a closet that he runs this thing in. Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about opening up in a studio where I could do everything from yoga to hit to
Hmm.
RX to everything because it's honestly it's not a difficult thing. It's just I think people are they're so focused on when things go back. Everyone's always so focused on the future, and you're never focused on the present. And there's a time and place to think about the future, right? Because you want to see things a few steps
Hmm.
ahead, but you don't want to mess up the what's happening already. Like you know how many times I get asked as a marketer, people say, "So Mike, what do you think the next platform is going to be? What do you think?" Who cares? Who cares? Right now, Facebook and Instagram are freaking awesome. Like we've
Yep.
never had anything like this outside of these last 5 years. Never in history have we had anything like Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. But everyone's already on to what's the next thing going to be. Stop. Just stop. The current thing you're not optimizing.
Yeah. And you're probably going to get it wrong, even though you think, is it TikTok? Well, maybe, maybe not. But if you're going to put a bunch of money and effort into it, you're certainly going to lose on what you do know today.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think right now people really need to, instead of saying, what's the world going to look like? Hey, what's the product we just realized there's actually somewhat of a demand for?
Yep.
I have somebody that in Australia, they signed up 150 virtual members at $25 a week
That's what I wanted to go into next
in a month.
because
In a month. It's
because
not for people to find that up in a physical space.
the game's shifting. The whole game is changing. And if you, like you said, if you try to go back to the way it was, you're going to be a dinosaur quickly. And how does that look from a marketing perspective? Because people were marketing differently today. We're having different offers. Do you see anything that what today that is going to carry on or even go through greater evolution as we start to open up with social distancing?
As far as the offers, no, I don't think so. I mean, people are always going to want to test something out before they commit to it. And it's such an easy thing to get people to test it out. I think people will still play around with free week, free month, free 14-day, $1 for a month or something like that. I think people will still test that out. The cool thing is now, here's one of the negatives that come with free week. One of the negatives that come with a free week in the old system, right, pre-pandemic, is you don't want too many trialers in a class
Yep.
because they could take up too many spots available. And now your paying members can't find a spot, and it's just not good for culture. Sometimes a lot of studios want to create separate classes just for trialers, right?
Yep.
Well, now it doesn't matter. Now that doesn't matter. I've already thought out how I'm going to do it with the studio I want to open up, right? If we move forward with this, I already thought about how we're going to do it. I'm going to have a cap of 50 people per instructor. Once we get above 50 people, then I'm going to have a different instructor and we're going to be able to have, in Zoom, you could break up rooms. Did you
Yep.
know that? You could break up rooms. So I could, if right now this Zoom meeting got up to like 50 people, I can immediately break it up into rooms of 8 or 10 or whatever I wanted to. And so now I can say, okay, once we get above a certain amount, we're going to break it up. So this instructor is going to have 30 people, this instructor
Mhm.
is going to have 30 people. Once you get up to 50 again, okay, this instructor is going to have 30, 30, 30. And we keep breaking it up. And yeah, I mean, just like in a studio space, if you had a studio that had 120 members in there, wouldn't you have 4 or 5 instructors at once?
Mhm.
You would, right? It's the same thing. And now, but they could watch from home. They don't have to be in my studio. The only person that needs to be in my studio is the person demoing, right?
Yep.
Or 1 or 2 people that are demoing for everyone that could be watching. But the people that are watching them could be from their home. And they can say, Eric, come on, let's go. Pick it up. Get those elbows up. There you go. Good. Keep those knees bent. Drop, Susie. Make sure you're dropping down. There you go. All the way down. It works. Hey, Charlie, go to the modified version. Do the modified version. Just get on your knees. So now I can talk to my group within a class. And now I can have 2,000 people in a class at once. And I could just have 20 instructors or 30 instructors all at once managing it, right?
Because yep. There's
And I can,
also
I can have instructors right now. What's another big issue that everyone's complained about? Another one. It's hard to find good instructors. But what if you weren't limited to your 5 mile radius? What if
Mhm.
they didn't? What if they could instruct from their house? Right now, I can employ people in New York. I can employ people in Florida. I can employ people in California, in Australia. I can employ people anywhere I want as long as I'm following the tax guidelines. I set up my business for that. I'm good. And here's
Yep.
the best part about it: I wouldn't employ people in California, New York if I could prevent it. I'd employ people in Idaho, in Montana, in
South
Nebraska.
Dakota, right here, South
Um,
Dakota.
perhaps I don't know, but I'd employ people where the minimum wage is less and the cost per living is less.
Yep.
So when I pay somebody a certain amount per class, it means more to them than when
Yep.
I pay someone in New York. So now not only can I get members from outside of my space, but I can get employees from outside of my radius. My option, everybody just opened up, but no one's thinking about it. Everyone's thinking, oh my gosh, how do I get people my 5 hour radius? Because when we open up, I eventually want them. Guys, you've been probably the pre-pandemic, people have probably been wondering, how can I blow this up bigger? How can I do it bigger? And then this pandemic comes and gives you all the answers, and you're like, oh, I can't wait till I can go back to where I was so I can rattle my head again on how I can make this blow up bigger. We're here. We did it.
It makes sense to people now as you say it. This is stuff that I've been thinking about as well because my wife is not one that likes to go work out in groups. She wouldn't mind it if an instructor's watching her, helping, or things like that, but she's not the group person. So there's you open up a whole nother segment of people that can do that that don't want to be in the group setting either. But a lot of people don't, they just don't think like this. I don't know. Is it creativity? Is it just like how do
What it is
you
that people project. You know how many times I've heard this too in business where I'll create a marketing strategy or an offer or something that I think they should be doing because it works. I've seen it work. And you know how many times I've heard people say, oh, I don't think people would want that. Oh, people don't like that. Oh, I hate when people do that to me. Dude, who cares what you hate and like? It
that's
doesn't matter.
exactly it.
What does the data say? An example I use all the time. Have you ever watched a movie, No Country for Old Men?
Yes.
Okay, you probably liked it. Most people
Yep.
did. I hated it. I walked out of the theater. I thought it was such a boring movie. I walked out on Tommy Lee Jones's like 48-minute monologue, whatever it was. I walked out. Now, just because I didn't like it doesn't mean everyone didn't like it.
Mhm.
So if I had a streaming service where I was basically opening up options for movies, I wouldn't say, well, nobody's going to like this movie because I didn't like it. I'm going to say it doesn't matter. It won awards. Let's get it out there. So all we have to do is look around. There's a company in Australia signed up 150 people in the first month of ever selling it. So not having any sales scripts practice, not having really any technology set up, and selling during a
Mhm.
pandemic when people are conservative and tight. And she sold 150 people a virtual membership at 25 a week. She just
Yep.
added $180,000 a year in low expense revenue to her business.
Yep.
$15,000 a month. She didn't have to increase her classes. She didn't have to add more class times. She doesn't have to get more equipment. She doesn't have to get any equipment. She doesn't have to renew equipment when it goes bad or gets worn. She's not going to have to repaint the walls once people keep touching it and sweating on it.
Hmm.
I get to redo the floors. I mean,
Is she full on virtual or does she have brick and mortar as well?
well, right now, full on virtual because it's.
But eventually be
Oh
brick and mortar.
yeah,
So
yeah,
you
yeah,
got,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But she
Uh,
signed up
y-
150 new people at $100 a month. That's just commitment to it, right?
Oh
That's just
yeah.
saying I'm going to get everyone up to do this.
That's the new pre-launch.
Yeah, she did a pre-sale,
Yep.
a really good one.
What do you so I've had a lot of conversations, a lot of different franchisees. Some of them are in my mastermind, some are just in the franchise tribe Facebook group, but they're all some franchisors have done very well coaching their franchisees. Some I believe have missed the mark. And this is where I'm going with this. I'd like your insight. So, and this goes into don't let you as the owner or your managers project what your customers are wanting. In our studios, we've stayed open where 70% of our members are still paying today, full on paying. We went into the mode of how do we add value to them so they continue to pay. And if they want to put it on hold, then they can put it on hold. We won't charge them for that. But like, how can we add value? As long a lot of it's been the virtual stuff, and so we have 70% of our members still paying today. I know other people that they wanted to do the right thing out of the right heart. They said, "We don't want you to pay if you're not experiencing the class that you used to experience live in person, then you don't have to pay." And I've heard from these franchisees, they said, "We get calls from our customers that are not paying anymore, wanting to pay because they want to support their local business. They never
Because
wanted to
not
get turned
charging
off."
people, no one said that not charging your people is the right thing, right?
Exactly.
They're saying we wanted to do the right thing and not charge our people because you're not getting the same experience. Who cares? Give them something
Mhm.
better then.
Let them decide.
Yeah, or no, give them something better.
Exactly.
Like right now, most fitness studios that I'll talk to, and there's ones listening. I can see we got people on the live right now. There are studios right now. I will guarantee you would, without a doubt, say we have a better culture with our members now than we did
Mhm.
before the pandemic.
Yep.
We are connecting and communicating more with our members today than we
Yep.
were pre-pandemic. We have a tighter relationship with them and some even their employees. I know we have a better culture at our company with our employees and with our members now than we did pre-pandemic. This pandemic's brought all of us tighter
Yep.
because we've all worked together through it to find out what you really care about.
Yep.
Before we didn't do that. We were just like, we know what people want. And really what we did was we copied other studios that we thought were successful. We just did a lot of that. But this is the first time we're like really dialing in and being creative because there is no one to copy. There
No.
will be in a matter of 2 months tops. There's going to be somebody that's doing some really cool thing. We're 6 months away from somebody dropping on us. We're going to hear it. Someone's got 1,500 members at $100 a month.
Do you see the model changing, the price point changing for virtual or some type of combination? And it's hard within the franchise system too, right? I mean, that's one of the like I love franchising. I've been in franchising for 20 years, so I love it. But that's one of the challenges. How do you work within your franchise model to innovate and to create?
No matter what, you got to know what business you're in. If you decided to
Mhm.
invest into a franchise, first and foremost, you stick to the guidelines of what the franchise tells you to do. And if you don't like it, then now you know why you don't, that you're not a franchise person, right? There's
Mhm.
pros and cons
Yep.
of the part of a franchise. The pros are you've got a lot of things developed for you already. You've got good brand equity in a lot of things. And so it could be easier for you to roll things off the ground than if you had nothing, right? The cons to it are it's kind of like having an HOA around your house, right?
Mhm.
HOA gives you better property value, but at the same time, if you wanted to put a tree here, you can't just put a tree here.
Yep.
HOA says you can't do it because you're messing up the overall theme of our community. I'm part of HOA. I can't just put up a basketball hoop in the front yard. I can't do it. Now, do some people think it's ridiculous and they complain and they whine? Yeah, they do. But like, dude, you didn't have to join an HOA. You could
Yep.
have just gone to a non-HOA, and then you could have put a friggin' pole vaulting setup in your front. Doesn't matter. But the same thing with a franchise. If you're part of a franchise, you've got to you can't just like you wouldn't want it if you were the franchisor. You wouldn't want your franchisees doing a whole bunch of stuff.
Yep.
You shouldn't either. So with that, now you have to say, just like an athlete would, if an athlete's in a game and that ref starts calling plays a certain way, you can either be the athlete that complains, bitches, and probably gets kicked out of the game early,
Yep.
or you can be the athlete that goes, okay, this is how they're calling the game. Well, how can I leverage the way they're calling it to work in my favor?
Yep.
The franchise says, hey, these are the way we're doing it. Great. How can I work that at the optimal level? How can I? And if you believe in something strong enough, instead of calling my franchisor randomly just speaking, how can I put together a presentation, a well thought out presentation as to why I think this new thing is going to work better? Because just like you as a franchisor, if some franchisee just called you and started like going off in tangents and they know what they want to say, but you can't put it all together, that's not a good sales pitch. But if you had a franchisee that said, hey, Eric, I've got something I know can work really well. I've seen six other companies doing it. It's generating an increase of 20% in revenue across the board. I want to show you how it'll work for our franchise. If you don't like it, I'm okay with it. It's yours. But can you at least see me as valuable enough to present to you what I've got? Yeah, it'll be 6 weeks. What would I have to do to get you to be okay with me presenting it in the next 5 days?
That's
There's
it.
nothing, Mike, I'm busy. There's nothing, I'm busy. But if there was something, what would it be? How would, if a person was able to get in your schedule for 30 minutes this next 5 days, if they were able to do it, what would they have to do? I mean, they'd have to show me that it could change the business. You got it. Increase of 20% in revenue across the board. Is that good enough? Yes. Let me just show you what I've got. And then take them through a presentation, a well thought out presentation of how it works. And if they bite on it, great. It's probably because you sold it well, like anything else. Why sales is so important to develop, right?
Yep.
If they don't bite on it, well, you at least did more than just complain. You actually went forward.
And that's exactly it. I remember when I used to have a job and I used to work for somebody, he was a franchisor. We could never go into his office with a problem without a solution. We always had to have a solution. Problem is this, solution is that. And sometimes it'd be like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And sometimes it's like, wow, let's implement this across the entire system. The other cool thing about like what you just said is absolutely the best way to go. And we're limited within a franchise system, but also you can scale within a franchise system. As a franchisee, you bring something innovative, you might now be a vendor to the franchise system. So don't look at it as a pigeonhole. Maybe it's an opportunity where you can be a vendor of something or create something, or you could be the person that creates the virtual whatever, and now you're a vendor to everybody. So there's a lot of different ways to look at it. You're so good at creating content, shifting things right now. And you're not just good at creating content, but you're good at helping other people create content with you. And you provide that a real value add to everybody that works with Loud Rumor. Can you talk about just like your mindset around adding value to the people that you're working with?
I'd rather not be known as good at creating content. I'd rather be known for good at creating solutions and then just telling people about what we did. Right. And that's it. What we built over the last, like, you know, 5, 6 weeks since this thing happened, the very first thing was how do we retain people? I think I went like maybe, I don't know, 2 weeks where I created 84 episodes or 83 episodes of a podcast called GSD COVID Updates. Right. And I just kept blowing through and interviewing different people. But along the way, I also went and I'm on day 18 today. 30 workouts in 30 days. So I'm literally working on a different studio every day to find out because everyone's doing something different. No one's a 10 yet, but there's a lot of sevens and eights. But even the threes, there's something in there that I really liked, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm sharing it every day. I'm sharing like what this studio did and how they did it. And all the studios in my Facebook group, I share, if you think I share a lot of content out of the group, in the group, it's like 3 times more. You don't see most of my content. So you don't see most of my content. Most of my content is private for the people that pay for it. I'm in the group all day. We created this whole thing of how to have really great live workouts. I created whole courses on it. But then after that, the next step is how do we make it beautiful? So, I mean, 10 years ago, people were creating great workouts. They just didn't look like they do today. The orange theories and the glowing and the mono.
Mm-hmm.
And then what people did was they said, now how do we make it look and feel incredible from the moment you walk in the door? And so that was my next level. So we just created this thing called Elite Virtual Studio. Can I show you like what the whole thing looks like?
100%.
It's pretty cool. So now it's what everyone was doing before. is they were getting people to log in like a ClickFunnels or something like that. So now
Hmm.
a backend that we created for people. So when you join a fitness studio today that has elite virtual studios, let's say like Lady Strong Fitness, now not only do you get into something that's nicely branded and it looks clean, but now you have here's a link to the playlist, right? So their Spotify playlist, here's our podcast, link to their Facebook group, refer a friend, review us, contact us, right? So you click on refer a friend, here you go, you can plug that in. And now you can actually plug in their information automatically. They'll get an email with all this stuff. They'll get a form filled out. And then once they go ahead and let's say refer somebody, let's say Joe Smith, 555, 555, whatever. Now, when as soon as they submit that, now check this out. Because we know if you referred someone, you probably had a good experience. And so now, thanks so much. Tell us about your experience. I click on I love it. Now, automatically, it asks you to review me. And then when I click on one, it automatically takes me to your page to go ahead and start reviewing you. And that's on all your platforms. But then you got in here, obviously we've got our live workouts, we've got our recorded workouts, all the pre-recordeds of the lives that you've done. But in here, we've got 250 plus videos of all different exercises. We filmed all these, by the way, in like 8 days, 6 days.
Did you really?
Yeah. So every exercise in here you could think of. So this is like the cross knee body drive, and we show how to do that right. But then on top of that, man, like Eric, you got it. Like this thing's incredible. There's a stretch library, just like the exercise library. There's 50 plus stretches without the foam roller, with the foam roller that you can go through. We've got Nutrition 101. These are the most commonly asked questions on nutrition, right? Healthy recipes, grocery lists, how to measure results, how to work out with a partner, fitness mysteries, awesome apps you can use. Basically, like you can't fail in this. I mean, that's the idea. And it's beautiful. And it's beautiful, right? So, but that was the next thing. So when you say create content, man, I'm creating way more solutions than I am content, right? I spent 2 straight days no sleep on this thing, building it out, right? Testing things out. But once I did it, now it's okay, let me go tomorrow, even though I spent 30 hours in 2 days on this, let me go tomorrow on Facebook and do a quick post that takes me 10 minutes.
but that's where it came from, and that's why your content's so good. The content that people see is so good because of where it comes from.
Yeah, I'm basically just I'm summarizing what I've learned in like 10 minutes, but what I've learned in the last day or 2 days of just intense taking other sessions, interviewing people. I interview a lot. But bottom line is like what you just saw that back end, that's what we created in 8 days. Watch what happens when we get 3 months. And that's just me. I'm gonna have people that are doing this now. In 6 months from now, Eric, in 6 months from now, there's gonna be someone that's going to make everyone listening jealous because they're going to be like, I could have done that. And
Yep.
they're going to have 1,000, 1,500 members at $99 a month. And they're going to be running stuff out of their studio, maybe 10 classes a week. And that's it.
Why do you think Peloton and places like that are? We got Mirror, right? Mirror's one of those, but that's expensive. You don't, I mean, where does that fall in line if you wanted to go that route?
So I love it. You asked that. So Peloton and Mirror, what they wanted to do was take the YouTube world and they wanted to make it better. And just like we've always wanted to make the studio world better, we've incorporated technology and design to do it, right? So
Mhm.
Peloton took because you always were able to take bike classes on YouTube. You just
Yep.
follow along on your own
Yep.
bike, right? But now they give you this awesome technology and beautiful design, and they made it better. And then same thing with Mirror, they made it better. Fitness studios, design, monitors, technology, armbands, all this stuff made it better. But what people don't realize is the core of it all is the interaction. And so with Peloton and with Mirror, what they still don't have is that interaction that people actually
Mhm.
want. There is some level of interaction, but it's not the same
No,
as,
it's more gamification than
yeah,
interaction.
yes, exactly. And so now, I mean, I'm working out. I worked out. I'm 18 days in a row. Yesterday, the one I worked out at, she she called me out like 9 times in a class, which is fine because that's how much I normally be called out, right? I was doing the wrong exercise, right? Or I was supposed to lift with this arm and I was lifting with this arm, and she's like, Mike, right arm, and I'm like, oh, and she's correcting me, and it's so much better. It's so much
Mm,
better. And so now keep in mind, again, this isn't exclusive. There are people, as soon as this thing opens up, people are going to be dying to get back into the gym.
yep.
I'm one of them. I'm one of them. But there's going to be many people, like my wife, like my father, like my sister, and five of my employees, right, that are probably going to say, I think this is better. I like working out from home whenever I want. And I'm able to use my own equipment. I don't have to worry, especially people are going to be, not everyone's going to be cootie free, ready to go.
No.
A lot of people are going to be concerned about touching a lot of equipment right away. But now here's your own. So,
Mhm.
but regardless, let's say everything even returns back to the way it was as far as like coronavirus. Imagine it just went off, it just disappeared like a miracle, like Trump said,
Like
right?
it came.
Yeah, imagine that happened. I still think we just were clipped with that idea, and there's going to be a market with millions and millions and millions and millions of people. There's 18 million just in New York, right? Millions and millions of people in the world. I think it'd be safe to say we can find a mere 5,000 that are willing to pay 99 bucks a month for this. And I'll tell you right now, everyone is about to be competing with me once I get a studio. I'm already hunting. If you look at my Instagram or Facebook, I already posted today. Everyone's going to be competing with me, but also collaborating with me because while I'm making the best studio, I'm also sharing what we're doing with our paying members. And so they're going to get the best of both worlds.
I told everyone I'm creating this franchisee mastermind. And because, I had friends that were thinking about doing it, but at the end of the day, it comes down to action and actually doing something. I mean, I'm part of it, several masterminds. I know that you're in that world. When you announce something like that, you have competitors that are going to start and not even start, but you just plant that seed in everybody's mind. Are you like me where it's like you almost do it and announce it to just give you the fuel to execute?
I just, in my head, it's already done. In
But
my
you
head,
don't care about competition. You don't care about other people because it's about you. You're just gonna get it done and share your journey along the way. And but it's just gonna like you to your comment earlier about competition. It's only gonna make you better.
what are some of your favorite things to do as a kid and adult? Like, what are some of your favorite things to do? You a sports guy?
Mountain biking and hiking and fishing and wake surfing, stuff like that.
Yeah. So all individual stuff, right?
I grew up as a swimmer, so I didn't grow up in team sports. I grew up as in individual sports.
I grew up in team sports, so maybe that's the difference between you and I. For me, basketball is way more fun with another guy wanting to stop your shot.
Swimming got really boring going 2 hours going back and forth, back and forth. Volleyball, I did play volleyball. I love volleyball, but the team aspect. But I get your point.
All the sports I enjoyed were competitive sports: basketball, track, martial arts, ping
Mhm.
pong, everything I've ever done, right? But no matter what, fighting is not fun when the guy's not punching you back.
Mhm.
It's just you're a bully at that point. Basketball's not as fun when someone's not there to block your shot. Football's not as fun when someone's not wanting to tackle you at full speed, right? It's boring. Imagine how boring
Mhm.
football would be. No one would play football. So do I like competition? Yeah, I kind of do. It's amazing. But part of competition is also creating plays and designing plays before your competition can figure out what's happening,
Yep.
right? So that's part of good competition.
Yep.
Most professional sports teams, all that I know, have scouting reports and they scout out the teams are about to play so they can prepare for them. And so it's about that. So for me, I like knowing that I've got a little bit of an edge,
Yep.
but at the same time, I want the competition. They're going to
Yep.
make the products better. Like I said, without it, we'd still all be on an iPhone 3G and loving it because we wouldn't know what could exist if there weren't people constantly competing to make the next thing better.
Early on in my that's exactly it. Early on in my franchising career, I was in tax business and we looked at the other tax offices as really big competitors. And there was never any interaction. And then I got out of that business and I got into more of the health and beauty space. And then I was a multi-brand owner at this point. Whenever you get into multi-brand ownership, you are around competitors that own a competing brand to you. And we become some of the best friends like and then you're competition but you're also friends. And so I love competition as well, and that's why I like to share my ideas with people because go execute it, and it makes me a better executor and a better competitor if I have
I'm,
to do it.
I'm friends with my competition. I've got a couple. And here's what I've noticed. We are friends. We are genuine friends. We will talk on the phone. We'll be there for each other on a personal level, right? We will share ideas. The ideas we share, what I've tend to notice, not just me, but by my competition as well, we'll share ideas that we're okay with giving away because either we think they already would figure it out on their own anyway,
Yep.
or it's not the thing that we depend on.
Yep.
But I can also tell that they don't tell me all their ideas because I'll see some shit launch a week later and I know they didn't just think of it. And I do the same thing. I don't tell them everything. So but I think that's part of it. I think we all know we're doing it. We all know
Yeah.
we're doing it. And we'll all want to find a way to sneak into it. We'll say something like, so what are you working on this week? Just different stuff. Right now we're looking at doing this, 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 and like, yeah, we just and it's like we share, but we're not all the way sharing. And but I think we all know that's part of the friendliness of it. We enjoy it.
Now that
And I
that
think
that's exactly it.
I think studios should do the same thing. Just go meet with each other regularly. In my members
Yes.
group, we've got a face the members group that you're streaming in right now. If it wasn't for this members group, I would say at least 10-15% more would be out of business right now.
What are
That's
some of the biggest things that you've noticed inside that membership group that have helped them or added a tremendous amount of value to keep them in business?
number one, people sharing ideas. Number two, people sharing how they execute those ideas, right? Because everyone will execute an idea differently. Email templates, scripts, messaging.
Hmm.
Number three, the results of ideas, because now you're more excited to actually take initiative in an idea when you see two, three people are actually getting results out of it.
Yep.
Different perspectives on things. So somebody will say something like, "Oh, don't you think we should just wait until it goes back to the way they were?" And then people come in with stuff like what we talked about today. Definitely copy scripts, that kind of stuff, strategies, offers, how to deal with employees, certain things, right? Like sometimes, employees are a challenge to work with because they don't know everything that's happening. And you forget that sometimes,
Yep.
and they forget that sometimes. It's kind of like, right now, how many people think they know what the country should do? There, you have so many people that have the answer, right? We should do this, or we should just do that. I don't get it. Why doesn't everyone just do this? They're such idiots, so we should just do this. And everyone's got the answer of what they should do, but no one's got the information. All they've got is the answer,
Nobody does.
right? And so when somebody asked me the other day, they're like, "Dude, what do you think we should do? You think we should go back to work, or do you think we should stay quarantined?" And I go, "I don't know." They said, "What do you think?" Dude, what I think doesn't matter. And he goes, "What do you think? What do you mean? What do you think doesn't matter? You're part of the country. What do you think does matter?" I go, "If it mattered, somebody that has a decision opportunity would have asked me by now. A decision, if what I thought mattered in that category, a decision maker would have asked me for my opinion. What I think doesn't matter. I don't have the data. I don't have the trends. I don't have the stored data. I don't have the KPIs of the data they're looking at. I don't have anything. All I have is my thoughts of what people are posting on Facebook that also don't have the data, and I'm coming up with my own solutions. It's equivalent to if somebody that maybe works at a lower level of Amazon goes up
Hmm.
to Jeff Bezos and tells him that what he's doing is ridiculous in this one thing because it would work better if he did it this way. And just like, do you even know what you're talking about? Like, do you know all the things that have to happen before your idea has to, like, comes first? How do you do it? So it's the same thing here. I think a lot of times we forget that our employees don't know all the things that we're dealing with on the financial side, on deferring things, on the tax side, on the legal side. And so employees have concerns and how to cope with employees, how to cope with family. Like there's a lot of things, man. I think our Facebook group is at this point, it's becoming a real strong community of people that they've got each other's backs, they know each other. I know once we have our conference, the amount of hugs, coronavirus or no coronavirus, once we have our conference, the amount of hugs that are going to happen at our conference are going to be insane because these people know each other now.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
That's true, and I've seen that. I had a small Facebook group, called Franchise Tribe, and it just grew a lot over, once Corona hit, and, because people needed each other at that point, and they were just a free flow of information, like you said, that community. I want to land here because I know that we're running up against our time together. Focus, like I'm a huge believer, and not always a good practicer of it, but focus and on one thing or the thing that you need to do to move the needle in your business. You got a lot of different things going on. I've got a lot of different things going on, and I've got more opportunity than I know what to do with. I'm sure you could chase so many different things. How do you remain focused, and what is your core focus?
Do you think being focused is a skill or a God-given gift?
I'm hoping it's a skill because I've been working on it and improving it, and
So,
but at the same
you
time,
notice an improvement?
I've noticed an improvement, but it's also identifying the core thing that I want to focus on, and how, if it's broad, how everything can drive to that versus just like working on a specific task. It's more of a bigger thing.
So I want you to tell me if you think I was focused. Okay. So I switched college majors 3 times before I quit college altogether. So far, focused or not focused?
Not focused.
Okay. I lived in 7 different places inside of a 2-year period. Focused or not focused?
Definitely not focused.
Okay. And I had 22 jobs before I was 24.
You
Focused
hold the
or not
record.
focused?
Not focused.
Not focused. Okay. So would it be fair to say that I'm by nature not a focused person?
100%.
And would you agree that without being focused, you can't get shit done? And you'd be a hypocrite to even say you GSD if you can't focus.
Yeah.
Okay. Because otherwise you just GSS, which is what I used to be, which is get shit started,
Yep.
right? Getting shit done involves focus. So you get good at whatever you practice. That's
Mhm.
a thing that I tell everybody in my group and all my family, my friends. You get good at whatever you practice. If you want to be better at focusing, then you've got to practice focusing. And so there's a lot of different ways I practice focusing. I do the Rubik's Cube. I solve it 3 times a day, every day. Right? Why? Because it's just nothing's going to get my attention but this. I play the piano. You know how hard it is to get good at something? So we used to be guitar, now it's piano. Exercise and tuning everything out when you do exercise. That's another good example of focus. When you're with your kids, like really practicing, not doing anything but being with your kids. You get good at whatever you practice, and whether you are intentionally practicing or not, you're practicing with every moment of your day. So if you're going from app to app to app to app all day long, if you're going from thing to thing to thing to thing all day long, even though you didn't sit down and say, I'm going to practice not being focused today, you absolutely practice not being focused today. And so if you want to be better at focusing, if you feel like right now, oh, I just can't sit down and focus, I keep getting distracted. Well, how much of your day do you practice getting distracted versus being focused? What are you putting in place every day to actually practice focusing? And you don't have to do something with work all the time because that could be boring. Like I said, I practice with whatever this,
Mhm.
the piano, hanging out with my kids. You practice whatever you do like, but it's the ability to sit down and focus. One of the things that my wife and I have gone back and forth on is homeschooling, which is funny because now
Same here.
there's no choice, right? I prefer homeschooling. I want homeschooling. But the reason I want homeschooling is because I think regular schooling kind of primes you to not focus.
Yep.
Every 45 minutes, you have to stop what you're doing and go do a totally different subject. Every 45 minutes, you go from math now to English, now to this. Why not if you were getting so close to really getting it? Who cares if the bell rings? Keep fucking going. You're just
Mhm.
getting it now. You're heating up. You're just heating up. And now you got to stop everything and go do something else from scratch. So that's the exact opposite of focus.
Yep.
So for me, when I'm learning a song on the piano, I will go, okay, I'm not leaving until I get the song down. I'm not going 30 minutes. I'm not leaving until I get the song down. And same thing with work. Today, I just announced to my team knows because of something that I did it the wrong way, the way I started it. I now have to redo everything I just worked on all last week. I have to redo it. And my team was like, oh my God, because they knew it took me like 6 days. And I said, don't worry about it. I'm not sleeping tonight. And they laughed just like you did. And I said, no, I'm serious. I'm not sleeping. It'll be done by morning. I won't need the laptop. But here's the thing, I can do that without burning out because I practice it in other areas. And you get good at whatever you practice. And then focus isn't something you have to do. Focus is something you can't help yourself but doing. Then you just get dialed in and then somebody will talk to you. that's a big problem with me. People will tell me things. They'll tell me, I looked right in your eye and told you, you didn't hear me. It's like, yeah, because you told me that thing while I'm focusing on something else. You're not breaking me. My wife knows. She has to say like, "Hey, Mike, can you do this?" And I'll be like, "Uh huh." She'll be like, "Look at me. Look at me. What? Look at, stop what you're doing. Look at me. I need you to do this, this, this. Okay, I will. Say it back. You need me to do this, this, this. Okay. All right. Now I got it. Because if she doesn't do that, I'll look at her. I won't even remember it happened. Right. So you get good at whatever you practice. You want to get good at not focusing, then just keep practicing things that cause you to get distracted. You want to get good at focusing, find ways to practice focus. You'll get there.
That is great advice. Yeah, like I said, I'm a huge believer in focus. I've definitely chased a lot of things in my past as well, and I'm getting better. It's not something that I have definitely arrived at, but I love the two things that you said, like the working out, just get focused there, and then intentional time with your family. That is practice, and I think that's gold. But man, thanks for coming on the Franchise Secrets podcast. I appreciate your time today.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Franchise Secrets Podcast. Whether you're watching or listening, please make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel and to whatever channel you're listening on. If you want my help with anything from buying a franchise to franchising your business, please visit franchisesecrets.com.